Hi, everybody. Welcome back to that Eurovision site. Today, we are going to continue on with our recaps of all the national selections that have taken place last week. And today's a very, very light one because we had 9 shows last week. 7 of those were finalists, so they all have their own recaps. But this one will just stick to the 2 that didn't select their entries. It was just shows. And it was Lithuania's Pabandom now and Sweden's Melodifestivalen. And I am joined by Euan to discuss what the hell happened over the weekend in those 2 shows.
Hello. I love that you're saying that it's going to be a short one when you've got you, a Sweden fan, and me, a Lithuania fan, as if we're all going to be, be able
Yeah,
to
we're
be
gonna
concise about these.
we're gonna run through that Zoom limit easily. But you know what? Let's start with you because the second semifinal of the Lithuanian selection took place, and the competing entries, well, the final 10 to compete for the final places were Polina Pascal, Let Me Think About Me, Agna with New Start, Matlin with Midnight Train, Lukne with Paradise, Monica Linkty with Stay, Jabrasi with Sawyer Ghost, Moonbee with Rumor, Beatrice with Like a Movie, Mario Jones with Do What You Do, and oh my god, I am gonna be terrible with the last one because can you even pronounce it? I don't think I can pronounce it.
Antikvarianai Kashpirovskoyo Dantus.
Sedi e Vaziori. Okay, so last Saturday, Euan live tweeted this, and I was hovering in the background trying to get all the articles out. So I'm gonna start with you. What were your thoughts on the second semifinal?
I was extremely happy with this. I do say this in the Lithuania video, which will be uploaded soon. I think the quality this year has been so much better than the last couple of years because yes, there were good songs, some phenomenal national final entries, but the overall quality I don't think was there. But I think this year there's been a step up all over the place. So all the average entry is much better. And I think this really encapsulated in this semi-final. Because realistically, I could have seen or made a case for all of these songs, well, maybe not one, making it to the final or deserving to making it to the final. And I think that really is testament to just how much Pabandom Naujo is improving. And so yeah, I'm ecstatic with the overall quality of the show.
For me, because I've seen this hovering in the background, and I've seen everyone through their heat performances as a catch up to like see comparing how they were from the heats up until now. And I think the minute they got to this point, they knew what's at stake. All the artists did. So I don't know, like there wasn't much changes, but it felt like the quality improved. I don't know if that's just because everyone's working really hard to like master their craft and seem to have worked. But I think for me, like I'm the same with you. I can make a case for most of them to like go to the final, and it's always gut wrenching. We have to lose some of the artists, which is the case. So, if you aren't already aware, been living under a rock, the 5 remaining finalists that actually went through to the final for this Saturday is Polina Pascal with Let Me Think About Me, Monica Linkty with Stay, Moonbee with Rumor, Beatrice with Like a Movie, and Mario Jones with Do What You Do. What are your thoughts on the final 5? Do you agree with the result?
I think overall I would switch out a couple in what I would personally want, but I think the 5 that have made it to the final are the right 5. Um, they were the best quality singers. They all have all of those 5 finalists have a good stage concept. There's not just standing on stage and just barking their song. There's a concept that they really have refined. And I think it's also interesting what you said about the transition between the heat and to the semi-final, because in previous editions there have been like quite a bit of change between like the staging and things like that, but there wasn't this year. It's really just they've refined it, and I think that's testament to what how good the performers were already, because they don't have to completely change everything up based on feedback from the heat. They already had that concept. So I really think that the five that did qualify are the right five, although I maybe not necessarily agree with what I would personally want. But objectively, I think I can agree. I think I can agree.
Yeah, like personally, I'd swap out one or two. I'm gonna say is hashtag Jebrossi, you will be missed. um, but I will say that the five that qualified are the one when I rewatched it again today before we recorded. Those are the five that like stuck out from what I've seen, from what I personally when I rewatched it again. So I'm not even surprised that those five make it to the final. It is very tricky now that we're going into this. And I'm pretty sure you guys have talked about it in your Lithuania preview. So if you want to know more about that, that's gonna get uploaded or if not already, it's out. So there's that. The other thing that we're gonna talk about today is my turn now. It is Melodifestivalen. Heat 2 took place in Linköping, and 7 artists competed for 2 spots in the final and 2 spots in the semifinal. And they were Victoria with All My Life, Where Have You Been? Eden with Uncomfortable, Uye Brandelius with Gluten, Panetos with On My Way, Tennessee Tears with Now I Know, Maria Sur with Never Give Up, and finally Theos with Mayor of Dig. I'm gonna start this off by saying I was I'd say blown away in some sense, but also surprised at some of these results, because even though I was in the midst of Super Saturday, I was still watching in the background. And when I tell you that when they were handing out the age group votes, I was just whoa, whoa, I was not believing my eyes. But personally, I think the the quality is there. I think it's a bit of a weaker heat because they went all out in the first heat and they've got some big hitters on this, but obviously being a big hitter doesn't mean equating a good result, which we'll talk about in a bit more. What are your thoughts on the show, Euan?
Um, I don't want to seem contrarian, but I'm like completely the opposite to you here. Because I'll be honest, although I've like at arm's length followed Melfest, I have not actually watched Melfest since 2013. That was the last one I properly watched. So then this is now a decade later, which it doesn't feel like that amount of time. It just flies so fast. It actually makes me sad at just the quality drop. Um, and I think this is also I feel for semi-final one, sorry, for Heat one as well. But I didn't feel like there. I felt like there was only one good performance that had everything. When realistically, with Sweden, I would have expected at least 5 of 7 to be there. So it might just be that I'm expecting more from Sweden, which I don't think is fair. But there is a reason that people expect that from Sweden, and
Mm.
I feel I am quite disappointed in this, and I'm really hoping that Heat 3 and 4 do turn out a bit better, because
Mhm.
I am it is actually making me a bit sad about the drop in quality.
Do you think that they're a victim of their own success and they're seeing the effects of that right now, you think?
I do feel like there is, and I don't think it's just this year. I think it has been a few years in the running, a little bit of resting on the laurels. Um, I would expect a bit more. There doesn't seem to be the drive to bring in those big heavy hitters. I get that they are wanting to not have the same faces every year, which was really expected of Sweden. And to be honest, a lot of other national
Mm,
selections, but I think particularly in
yeah.
Melfast, like, okay, well, we've seen like 15 of these again, they're returnees. But they were there for a reason.
Yeah.
They were good.
No, but I think for this one specifically, like there's say 3 to 4 newcomers,
Yeah.
and then there's like eh, and then there's like 3 returnees.
But the returnee, like,
So you got Victoria,
yeah,
Panetos, and Theos.
because
Because
Theos and Panatos never really rated them priorly.
yeah,
I didn't dislike the current entries. I think they're actually
yeah,
probably the better of the entries, but they're still not the
mm,
quality I was expecting. The
yeah.
one that really did shock me was Victoria. Um, I love her previous entries, but this was not what I was expecting.
Mm,
Um,
I get that.
and I am quite disappointed because I think Victoria is an amazing singer, and Victoria does deserve to be in Eurovision,
Mm,
uh, but not with all my life.
mhm,
Obviously, well, not with all
yeah.
my life because of the results. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I know. If you don't already know or been living under a rock, Maria Sur won the public vote in the first round, and then Panetos got the most points from the age groups and the televote. Those two are direct to finale. Tennessee Tears and Fios made it to the semifinal, and then the rest were eliminated. But the thing is, like, a lot of things shocked me with Melo last week. Was the fact Victoria didn't advance. Victoria was a shock non-qualifier. I was surprised. I had her like, oh, she'll win the first vote. No, she didn't, and that I can see why when I watched that performance, and I'll leave it at that because I don't want to get into an argument with that. But I think that, like, if you want to just don't start an argument on our comment section. But yeah, I can see why it didn't qualify. It just didn't stand out quite enough. Um, Another thing that shocked me was Tennessee Tears and that votes and the votes that they got. Like, I don't know why that shocks me, but it was Tennessee. It was them
so
like
sorry, I've
getting.
actually just seen the votes. I didn't actually consciously look at the
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, no, they Tennessee Tears got like a lot of 12s and the higher age gaps and the telephone vote, which shocked me. I was like, how? How did this happen? And personally for me, I don't know if I'm allowed I don't know if I should say this or not, but like I thought Theos was gonna get the second director finale spot with that performance. I was quite shocked that he didn't get that. With that energy and the fact that the heat took place in his hometown is what shocked me the most because he got the biggest reaction out of everyone, and that heart was beating like crazy. I mean, no, like disrespect to Panetos because Panetos has tried so hard to get out of that cycle where they had to go through second chance in order to get to the final, and the fact that they don't participate for a few years, come back and get a final spot on directly fascinates me though. But
It is really
yeah,
good to see the sort of a Malfest redemption arc,
yeah.
like
What do
a
you
director
yeah?
finale. Yeah,
What do you think of the results, or do you think the results was fair, or would you swap something out?
I think overall they're fair, but there is Eden with comfortable not being in the final. It honestly feels like a travesty because to me that felt like it was such a good performance. It was so in captivating. Like I could not take my eyes off Eden on the guitarist and just like it was so perfect. It was so I ineffably phenomenal. And it was the only one that I really felt was like the complete polished package. Because yeah, Maria Sur deserved to win of the other ones, but it did feel a bit flat in the first half of the performance. So that's why I do hope in the final she does perform a bit better. So I think she would be a justified directing finale, but I don't even think Eden deserved to go to semi-final. I think they deserve to be direct final. Like it was such a good performance, and it's not a style of music that I typically enjoy. I just is it because it performed second? Like, how did it get
Yeah, it
the
came.
last in all apart from two?
Yeah, no, it didn't. This is the part of it now where it's just like you have to appease everyone, and unfortunately, it didn't appeal to everyone, so that's why it came
It
last.
didn't appeal to anyone, which I don't understand because it only got two threes from the 3 to 9 and then the 10 to 15. Like, how?
Yeah, I know.
It's not even like Victoria's performance before was a big opener, and then Uya Brandelius was just like something that just completely washed over the previous performances.
Mhm.
It stood out. I really don't get this.
Yeah,
Sweden, why?
no, yeah, no. It's always a mystery in Sweden. It's always like you think you know the result, but you don't. But in any shape or form, that brings us to the end of this recap. What do you think of the results from last week's Pabandom now and Melodifestivalen? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and give this channel a notification bell, or ping the notification bell to be one of the first people to find out when we have a video. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at That Your Site. Don't forget that this is also on our podcast, That Eurovision podcast, on your preferred streaming platforms. So you can listen to it instead of, watch us, bore you to death with our stan countries. But,
Can I just
don't,
say
yeah,
though, if you do want to hear more about our interest in our stand countries, I will be live tweeting Pabandom final next week,
yeah,
this weekend.
and for me, I'm not taking any Mellow Helm, but there is interviews coming. And also I will be in Malmö next week. Fun, fun, fun. To cover the final heat and, maybe meet the person who is the reason why I'm actually here right now. But in any shape or form, have a good one, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.